season, everybody's pissing and moaning. We had a different coach come up and give a motivational speech in the afternoon each day. He was our running backs coach at the time by the name of Derek Foster. Coach Foster came up there, toughness and pushing through. He got real razzed up as his speech progressed. We had a video coordinator named Rocky. He finishes his speech and he goes, "Hit it, Rock!" And Set It Off by Boosie Badass played. As a young white man, it was my first time hearing that song, Set It Off. Yeah, we finna set it off. You heard me? I'm finna put you in the trash bag. Tired of all these knowing me right now, for real. You wanna talk shit? You wanna run your mouth? You want some gangster strut your motherfucking house? We'll set this off. Yeah. And that was my first time hearing Set It Off. At Samford University, it was the third or fourth week of camp. We were about where teams are right now. Right before the season, everybody's pissing and moaning. We had a different coach come up and give a motivational speech in the afternoon each day. He was our running backs coach at the time by the name of Derek Foster. Coach Foster came up there, toughness and pushing through. He got real razzed up as his speech progressed. We had a video course. All right, hear ye, hear ye. Yes. Okay, and we're back. Today's show, we're going to unpack the whole weekend of pro football that went down. We got carried away with the lane stuff yesterday, and that's fine. Listen, guys, I feel like absolute trash. I don't really remember the sequence, but I was wrestling with a good training partner of mine last night, and both of us were fighting for position. At the end of the round, there was the last couple seconds ticking off the round, and he's a good wrestler. I feel like I'm a decent wrestler. We were fighting for position, and just got caught with him and his weight coming down on me and landed on the crown of my head, and I felt a bunch of cracks in my neck. For a millisecond there, it was a fast little tumble too, and a lot of weight. And so for a second there, I was worried that my neck was broken. It was very painful. My neck is not broken. We should be back to physical activity rolling here in 2 or 3 days. Some good sleep, icing, chiropractic work, but I cannot. You guys have to keep me cool today. We can't really get in the jar today if we don't have to, because I can't make any sudden movements right now. I'm telling you guys, if you told me to, if you wrote something on the ceiling directly above me right now and you said, "Hey, I'll give you $1 million if you read that," I'd be like, "You keep your fucking money." I can't. So my neck is fucked right now, guys. Fucked. It's very painful. I don't wish it on anybody. It's just a sprain. It's like the C1 and the C4 in here that just got a little crunched during a wrestling sequence last night. But I feel like shit today, guys. You never take your physical health, your physical well-being for granted. And that's not to say that I'm not healthy. We take care of our body. This is kind of the first physical hardship we've come upon in the last year or so of training. You just trying to get position at the end of a round. You have a little wrestling sequence. One guy ends up in a better spot going down to the ground, and I unfortunately crunched the crown of my head against the mat with a 200-pounder's weight coming down on me and me coming down. And I was worried my neck was broken for a second. My neck is not broken, but it is fucked right now. It fucking hurts. I've been talking to my chiropractors and stuff, and they're telling me that I'm in the inflammatory phase with my neck today and tomorrow. It's where it's flaming up, and it's going to hurt really bad, but it's trying to protect itself and all that good stuff. So we'll be able to go a little later with the show today, maybe be able to go over the next 30 minutes or so. I am going to head down to the dojo, just watch practice, but I cannot drill for the next 2 days. And then on Thursday, I will be able to drill jiu-jitsu. I will not be able to go live. And then hopefully in 5 to 7 business days, I'll be able to be back to normal. But I've been in the cold plunge today for 3 minutes a pop. I've been icing my neck at the top of each hour. Okay. And apparently I'm not supposed to stretch. Apparently I'm supposed to stay away from heat as well. No saunas, no stretching. Listen, guys, I laid down to kind of decompress my neck earlier. I won't tell you what else I did when I laid down, but I put a little towel roll on my neck to kind of ease the tension, the tension in my neck. You guys are just popping in. I was rolling last night, jiu-jitsu. End of the round comes along, and me and my buddy, we're good buddies. We take care of each other in training, but he's a big guy, and he's good. And we were fighting for position in a wrestling sequence at the end of the round, trying to fight for position. I end up with his full weight on top of me, rolling into the mat, and my crown of my head was the first thing that met the mat, and it just dissipated. My neck for a second there just dissipated under all that pressure, and it crunched, and I felt immediate pain for a millisecond. I was scared that I had broken my neck or something, but it's just a spasm. It's just a sprain, but it is one of the most painful things I've been through in the last couple years, easily. If you wrote something on the ceiling here and you said, hey, I'll give you $1 million if you read that right on the ceiling up there right now, I wouldn't be able to do it. So we're not going to get too in the jar today. You already hear me raising my voice. If you guys see me randomly wince in pain, it's because and it's one of those things, guys. One of those things like muscular or joints. I dealt with this in the shoulder a lot, where you make one like random movement in the car, like years after you did the injury. You're like, oh, fuck. It's been like that all day. Like the stupidest shit, like setting up the set today. This isn't the most spacious room that I shoot this podcast in, right? So, I'm having to scurry over top and underneath of cords, light panels, headphones, stuff like that. One of the goddamn headphones came unplugged because I stepped on it, and I was like, fuck, I gotta fucking bend over to get this goddamn thing now, because shit like that. And I'm scurrying around, guys, and it just hurts to even fucking tailor my body so that I don't unplug everything walking around this goddamn studio. So I'm not complaining. We will be back to drilling probably in 2 days. To throw ice on it at the top of every hour, getting a cold plunge each morning for 3 minutes up to the neck, and hydrate and sleep good. I slept on my stomach last night, so that might have set me back a little bit. I can't not sleep on my stomach though. I try to sleep on my back. It doesn't work. Put a fucking towel on my neck to kind of arch it and shit. But if you guys see me randomly wince in pain throughout the course of the show, you guys probably need to like send a message in the chat. Be like, hey, dude, get out of the jar, man. You're gonna hurt yourself, man. Somebody popped in the chat, said, bro, what are you talking about? I messed up my neck training jiu-jitsu last night, and I've been in so much pain today. I wanted to kind of share my plight there. Anybody that might, I don't know, man. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. So we spent so much time yesterday talking about the Lane Kiffin stuff. We didn't even get to unpack what we got going on in pro football, and I'm all the way back in on the Bengals. I'm biased. You will hear it. The first thing you'll hear from the show is that we are biased toward the SEC. We are biased toward the Cincinnati Bengals. There's now seemingly a clear path for the Bengals at 4-8 to win the AFC North and to head to the playoffs. Everybody's starting to kind of spin this narrative. Skip Bayless has spun this narrative. Bruce Arians goes on Pat McAfee's show today and says it's not BS that the Bengals could run the table and win the AFC North and go to the playoffs. And I know this for certain. It doesn't matter. And this might be the mentality of the Bengals front office. This might be why the Bengals front office has failed so miserably, is because they probably think, yeah, we got Joe Burrow, we'll be fine. The problem with that is when Joe goes down, you see what happened throughout the course of this season. But somehow you got one of the shittiest divisions in the history of football. Pains me to say that because we also are an AFC North biased show, and it's easily the worst division in football, much to the benefit of my Bengals. And you watch this game on Thanksgiving, and I have a live reaction stream of the entire Bengals-Ravens Thanksgiving game on this channel. We called the game. It's basically a companion. It's an audio companion to the game. And if you watch that stream, just the disbelief that I was in, watching this Bengals team look like a brand new bitch against the Baltimore fucking Ravens. I don't know why I need to say the F word there. Brand new team. I was kind of scared to spin that take, man, because I've stuck my neck out for the Bengals time and time again this season. I feel like if there's any Bengals fans watching right now, they'll resonate with what I'm about to say. I feel like we've lived 10 lifetimes this Bengals football season. The hope that we started with, the despair when Joe went down, the further despair when Browning was out there for 3 weeks against Minnesota, Denver, and Detroit. And then the hope again when Joe Flacco comes in to try and save the day. And then we only win one game in that stretch. We lose to the Bears. We lose to the Jets. Everything seems like it's completely over. And then Joe comes back. And we're tempted to get hopeful again, but we're really hurt at this point. We really don't feel like we as Bengals fans can handle any more of that pain. And then he goes out. Joe balls. Everybody around him balls. The defense played the best game of the season by far, forcing 5 turnovers. And now you're all the way back. As a Bengals fan, you got a clearer path, might I add, for Cincinnati, if they win out, than they had last year. And it at no point last year felt this hopeless as it felt seemingly every 2 weeks throughout the course of this Bengals season. I don't think Joe's going to get re-injured again. That's my hopeful little heart talking. But I don't think Joe's going to get re-injured again. I think you've got a completely different team in Cincinnati when you have Burrow. That might be an obvious statement on the offensive side of the ball, but he also seems to elevate the defensive guys. He seems to, and the guys in the locker room in Cincinnati said this about Joe Burrow. They said that when he's there, when he's active, they don't want to disappoint him. Think about that. You don't care about anything else except making sure that the standard Joe Burrow has in place is what you're going to stick to, even if you're a defensive guy. So having him back, look, the last 5 games of the year for Cincinnati, they do need a couple things to happen on top of winning out. You've got what might be the most intriguing, and again, we're biased. We're going to lead with that every time because I want you guys to take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But I've heard other people make this take as well. This game on Sunday, Cincinnati at Buffalo, is going to be pure cinema, guys. It is going to be the game of the week, and it's in the early slate. I guess they flexed them out when Cincinnati was losing all those games, and rightfully so. This is going to be the game of the week in the NFL, and Bills fans have started to seem to have a bit of a disdain for Cincinnati. Maybe they feel like Joe Burrow gets excessive PR compared to their sweet Josh Allen. I'm not dumping on Josh Allen. I think he's a great player. And I think Buffalo fans are cool. I think Buffalo's a cool place. My ex-girlfriend's from Buffalo. Okay, I went down there, spent some time, and even though she's not my favorite person in the world, a lot of good memories in Buffalo. I don't know what the hate's about. I think they know that Joe Burrow's better than Josh Allen, and they have a chip on their shoulder about it, the Bills fans. We'll see on Sunday. I've already been jawing with Bills fans on Twitter today because some guy was a Bills fan and a Duke basketball fan. Okay, step aside, sir. But you've got Buffalo next week. You've got Baltimore the week after that in Cincinnati. And then you finish out the season with Miami, Arizona, Cleveland. So if Cincinnati can make it through the next two games, I'm not writing off the last 3 weeks of the season, by the way. It would be perfectly signature Bengals to win 4 out of the next 5 and then drop a head scratcher to Cleveland or something week 17. That would be the most signature Bengals thing that could ever happen looking at the context of this season. But they should win those last 3 games in Miami. They play Arizona at home in Cincinnati, and then they got the Browns at home in Cincinnati in Week 17. A lot of home games coming up in these last 5 games as well. You got Buffalo on the road, you got Miami on the road, and then 3 out of those last 5 are at home. You got to have, look, the Ravens and the Steelers, I believe, still haven't played each other at all. So they're gonna have to play each other twice. They're gonna need to maybe split that series, and then Pittsburgh's gonna have to lose one more. And that doesn't seem like a problem because Pittsburgh looks like shit right now, dude. They look like shit. And so if the Bengals win out, it's a 5-1 division record, 9-8. I'm hearing still from some people that the AFC North winner, this is how bad the AFC North is this year, that the AFC North winner could be 8-9. So could we, I mean, the Bengals would need a lot of help at that point if they dropped another game. We're sticking with the Bengals have to win out in order to make the playoffs. And again, there's a couple of, Skip Bayless is spinning this take. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. There's another guy that's spinning this take today. I can't remember what his name was. But look, man, you cannot tell me, and this is the title of the video. I'll get to the juicy stuff. You cannot tell me after seeing that Thanksgiving Ravens-Steelers game that Joe Burrow's not the best quarterback in the whole NFL. He's injury prone. He's only played 3 games. Did you see how he elevated not just the offense, but the entire team in a division game that you can't lose? God damn, my neck's flaring up. Fuck. I'm saying, guys, it is complete organizational malpractice for Cincinnati to rely on Joe Burrow's health for all their hopes and dreams. Ted Karras, the center for the Bengals, said that during camp before the season when the wasted first-round pick, Shamar Stewart, hit Joe Burrow in training camp practice. Ted Karras said he looked at, I just creaked my neck again. Ted Karras said that to Shamar Stewart. Wow, that neck shit really threw me off. Just kidding. Oh, God. I feel like... Anyway, let me get to the fucking point, okay? Ted Karras, center for the Bengals in camp, said when Shamar Stewart, the wasted first-round draft pick, hit Joe Burrow, that he told Shamar, hey, those are our hopes and dreams. And quite literally, the hopes and dreams of the Bengals were dashed while Joey B was gone. But I just do not see a world where, and again, I'm going to lead every single take I have about the Bengals with the fact that we are a Bengals biased show. We are Bengals homers. They piss me off to no end. I want to boycott them 89% of the time. But you can't tell me after watching that game, I don't give a shit if he's only played 3 games this year. You cannot tell me that Joe Burrow is not the best quarterback in the NFL. The way he elevates the whole organization. And I don't know if there's another guy. Fuck, burping hurts too with my neck, dude. My neck. You can't tell me there's another guy in the NFL that would be able to elevate such a decrepit, defunct, dysfunctional organization like the Bengals. You can't tell me anybody else but Joe Burrow could handle that pressure, could not just survive in that environment, but excel like he does. And I'm telling you guys, I don't care if the Bengals sneak into the playoffs. I wonder, sometimes I was thinking about this in the shower today. Organizations like the Bengals, you wonder on the macro if them creeping into the playoffs this year wouldn't actually on the big scale be bad for the Bengals. Because then here's the mentality, and I need to plug my charger into my laptop. Here's the mentality of the front office in Cincinnati. Here's the mentality of ownership in Cincinnati. If the Bengals sneak into the playoffs, this front office is probably not going to take any accountability for the hell that week 3 through 12 this season haven't been absolute hell. They will take no accountability for it. They'll just look at the end result and say, well, we snuck into the playoffs. We must be doing everything right. And if Joe Burrow is actually injury prone and the Bengals don't make any changes to the way they scout, I mean, you're looking at more and more years of suffering, in my opinion, as a Bengals fan. I was thinking about this, how a Bengals playoff sneak-in could actually, on the macro, be a really bad thing for the organization. I hope I'm wrong. And it's not like I don't want them to make the playoffs as a fan either. I think Cincinnati makes it to the playoffs. Every single team in AFC, again, we're biased, but I truly believe this objectively. If the Bengals sneak into the playoffs, there is not a team in the AFC that wouldn't be shaking in their boots a little bit with Joe Burrow in there. There just wouldn't. It's the fact of the matter. We got Jacob, fan of the show, in the chat. He's a big Bears fan. The Bears, they are rolling. The Bears, this is the culture shift that nobody saw. Ben Johnson showed up and immediately invested in the offensive line. His first 3 moves, offensive lineman, offensive lineman, offensive lineman. They beat Philly on the road on Black Friday. 281 rushing yards. They had 2 backs go for 100-plus. Swift and Monangai against one of the best run defenses in Philadelphia. Philadelphia really is struggling. I don't think it's an overreaction at all to say that we won't see either of the Super Bowl appearing teams from last year in the Super Bowl this year. Philly's offense just cannot get going. And listen, let's give Chicago their flowers. Let's give the Bears their flowers. Ben Johnson has completely changed it there. And I know that there's been skepticism about successful coordinators translating their careers into successful head coaches. Not a problem for Ben Johnson. Oh, my God. Not a problem for Ben Johnson. Let me, guys, let me plug my computer in. Lord have mercy. fucking reach or not? You bastards. Excuse my language. All right. But now the phone ain't plugged in. And the phone is what we're using for the camera. So, guys, I'm all fucked up today. If you're new to the stream, if you're just popping in, tweaked the shit out of my neck in jiu-jitsu last night. Fell on the crown of my head full tilt with a 200-pound guy's weight on me. Thought I broke it. It's been the worst pain I've known in years that I've been dealing with today. So you guys might see me like when I bend over, when I make a sudden move, I start to wince. But anyways, appreciate you guys hanging in with me while I plug the computer in. We're talking about Ben Johnson and the Bears. We've already talked a bit about the Bengals. You guys know where I stand on them. Very biased. I'm back in. I'm sold in. But we're talking about the Bears now. Ben Johnson came to Chicago and made them run heavy in a passing league. Is that genius, or does he just know something everyone else doesn't? I mean, look, this Monungai guy, this running back for Chicago, Monungai, he is a real dog. They got him in the 7th round. You think Cincinnati is picking up guys like Monungai in the 7th round? Cincinnati actually traded Chicago that pick for Khalil Herbert. If you guys remember Khalil Herbert, don't know who he's with, didn't do anything for Cincinnati. Didn't do anything. Cincinnati gave up that Monungai pick to Chicago, and now you see what they're getting out of him. DeAndre Swift looks like old Swift again. And again, is that Ben Johnson, or is that just what happens when you give a guy a good offensive line? Who would have thunk it? I think the Chicago Bears are probably the surprise this season. I got a burp too, and guys, with my neck, I know sound like I'm bitching, by the way. I get that. My neck, I cannot burp without intense pain today. Now, there's a 2-day timeline for this. I'll be good, probably halfway good tomorrow, probably all the way good in 3 or 4 days. Yeah, so they send that 7th round over. Cincinnati sends that 7th round pick over for Khalil Herbert. Cincinnati gets Khalil Herbert. He does absolutely nothing down the stretch last year. And then Chicago uses that pick, drafts rookie Monungai, who's absolutely balling. He ran all over Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. He ran all over the Eagles on Black Friday. And they had 2 backs go for 100+, 281 yards on the ground combined for Chicago. I saw Jackson Dart talking to the press today. He took a couple of really hard hits this past weekend. And he basically told the reporters, hey, fuck off. I'm going to keep running hard. This isn't soccer. And we're starting to see, I'm seeing media folks talk about this today, and it's young quarterbacks trying to prove how tough they are instead of staying alive for their team. You got Jackson Dart, who was talking about this today. Jaden Daniels is another guy that just kind of seems to refuse to get down, refuse to slide. And Jackson Dart got absolutely laid out against New England, I think it was. And he just was coming back from a concussion, kind of tiptoeing the sideline. Look, I hate giving the Chiefs or Mahomes or flowers. The Bengals seem to be back in contention, so I'm going to be comfortable talking shit about the Chiefs at 6-6 again. Mahomes I will give him his flowers. He's mastered that tiptoe along the sideline, get out of bounds safely, while kind of baiting defensive guys to come and hit him because he knows it's going to be a penalty. I was talking about the state of the game to an old head a couple days ago, and I think this is obvious. I don't think this narrative really needs to be spun that hard, but it's clearly become an offensive favored rule set in football. You can't hit guys as a defensive player like you could even 5 or 10 years ago. And I think that needs to change. I think it's unsafe for defensive players because they don't know when to go or when to pull up. And you got guys like Mahomes on the offensive side taking advantage of the rule, tiptoeing, grabbing an extra 3, 4, 5 yards, tiptoeing on the sideline because nobody on defense wants to come up and pop him, make him pay because they know they'll have to pay with 15 yards and an automatic first down. So if I'm Jackson Dart, if I'm Jaden Daniels, I'm watching film on Mahomes to try and see how I can milk the sideline and milk the rules the way Mahomes does it. Because Mahomes, he's running around all the time. And he's not you don't see him getting lit up. Last time you saw Mahomes get lit up on the sideline was probably that 2023 AFC Championship game between Cincinnati and Mahomes, where Joseph Osai, number 58, the defensive end for Cincinnati, tackled Mahomes out of bounds late in the game and all but handed Kansas City the AFC Championship that year. That's the last time I can remember Mahomes getting hit on the sideline. I think players on defense saw that film and said, I'm not going to be the guy to cost my team the game. I'm just going to let Mahomes tiptoe along the sideline. So if I'm Jackson Dart, if I'm Jaden Daniels, I'm watching film on Mahomes scramble drill all day. Try to see if I can pick up something in terms of milking the sideline, milking the rules. Let's see our hot takes for this topic. These kids watched Andrew Luck. And again, if you guys are new to the show, it seems like we've got a lot of people watching today. If you're new to the show, I use AI to create my outlines for the show, make sure that I'm filling in all the cracks on talking about things that are relevant in football. And I have the AI create a hot take or a tangent based off of each segment. We call it getting in the jar. We want to rant about stuff. We want to be grumpy. We want to be yelling at the sky. Oh, my God. That's being in the jar, right? So sometimes these hot takes are great. Sometimes they are just Captain Obvious, thanks for nothing type statements. And then sometimes they're so terrible that we got to condemn them to hell. So let's read our hot takes talking about young quarterbacks maybe wanting to prove something by being tough and taking hits. These kids watched Andrew Luck and Joe Burrow play hurt. Now they think that's the standard. It's not. It's the exception. Thanks for nothing. Jackson Dart's getting his ass beat and coming back saying this isn't soccer. Bro, it's football and you need a QB. Thanks for nothing. You know what separates Drake May from Jackson Dart? One learned to protect himself. One didn't. Now listen. Drake May is getting a lot of positive press in the media today. We follow other shows, and it seems like every show like ours that I follow on a daily basis is just putting Drake May up there on a pedestal. And why would you not? New England's been great. Mike Vrabel couldn't have been a more perfect fit as a former player, Super Bowl champ there. Couldn't have been a more perfect fit. Drake May, though, great prospect, top 5 draft pick, struggled the last couple of years. He's a system quarterback, guys. You think that, and again, copy and pasting a quarterback into Cincinnati. I already said this earlier. I don't think you could do it with anyone in the league other than Joe Burrow. But let's just say, let's say you copied and pasted Drake May into Cincinnati. And I don't want to be the if guy. I don't want to stay on hypotheticals for too long. Okay, but let's say that you copy and paste Drake May into Cincinnati this season. Is their record better or worse than it is now? That's kind of a loaded question because Cincinnati's played backups for how many weeks of the year? 9 weeks? Maybe their record's a little better. But if you had Joe Burrow playing the whole year, I don't know. That's maybe a ridiculous hypothetical. But I think, look, And let's not discredit anybody. We're not hating. We're not throwing jabs. We're not doing any of that. But to this point, I just believe that Drake May has benefited from coming into a good situation. That I don't think anybody can argue with that. I think it's a great situation in New England. You've got Robert Kraft, one of the greatest owners in the game, maybe the history of the game, and you got a perfect fit at head coach in Mike Vrabel. I don't know. Look, football is just about putting the right pieces in the right places. Right, you got the job of the personnel department, scouting department, is to find the right guys. They're the HR. Are they the HR department? Pro football teams have their own HR department. That's a bad comparison. They're picking the guys, so it's on them to pick the right guys. It's on the coaches to put those right guys in the right places, and then it's on those right guys in the right places to do the job right and execute. And New England's done that. Let's look at the playoff picture, huh? Let's look at the AFC playoff picture. So this is as of November 30th. You got Denver at the 1 seed, 10-2. They continue to find a way to win games. New England right there at the 2 seed, 10-2. Jacksonville, who I just have a hard time taking serious, is in there at 8-4, securely in there. Indianapolis just dropped another one to Houston. You got the Chargers in the mix, but they are, look, man. The Chargers do not have Herbert. I know Herbert got hurt. Dare I say that Herbert might have to get surgery? Did I see that somewhere? I need to get my facts straight. But I don't really see the Chargers being a team that I take that serious in here. Houston is hotter than a damn whore's ass in church right now. Houston it might be one of the hottest teams in football right now. Pittsburgh slowly falling off, and Kansas City in completely unfamiliar territory at 6-6. They might have their fate in other people's hands just like everybody else. And then you go outside of this graphic here, you got Cincinnati at 4-8, which, praise be, are still somehow very much in this race. You still technically got Cleveland in there. You still technically got Miami in there. You still technically got a few other teams. But this AFC, guys, look at this graphic, guys. And as cracked out and delusional as I sound, this is a Bengals infomercial, this podcast today. As delusional as I might sound, you take the Bengals from Thanksgiving and you put them in front of any of these teams. Is there a single team that you say there's absolutely no chance that they win this? There isn't. There isn't. They lost to Denver with Jake Browning. It was a bloodbath. They lost to New England 2 weeks ago, and played a great defensive game. They beat Jacksonville. They beat Baltimore. Again, I don't really take the Chargers serious, especially if they don't have Herbert. Even with Herbert, I don't really. The LA Chargers are just not the kind of team to make a run. Tell me I'm wrong. You got Indy. They got a great running game, but they've shown a lot of flaws the last couple weeks. They've lost 3 of their last 4, I believe. You got Buffalo, who Cincinnati will go and play next week. Houston Texans, I think right now, might be the most dangerous team in this graphic. They are playing their ass off. Pittsburgh slowly falling off. Pittsburgh vastly falling off. Smart Dog 6298 says Buffalo. Okay, we will see. And I want all y'all back in here. Denver, we won't really get an answer unless there's a playoff meeting. If Buffalo beats the Bengals, they will run the table. I don't know Buffalo's remaining schedule, actually. But, think about this. We're going to get our answer on Buffalo next week. If anything from the past tells us what you need to know about Burrow versus Josh Allen, go back to that division game when the Bengals were wearing all white and Bills fans complained about the Bengals wearing all white. I'm just saying. A little friendly shit talk. Guys, you got to have that on shows like this. We got to have a little friendly shit talk. Look, if it's Burrow versus Josh Allen, guys, and again, I will say unabashedly that this is a Bengals biased show. Burrow versus Josh Allen. I'm taking Burrow every time, guys. That's what I'm doing. And, Smart Dog's being a good sport. He's being realistic in the chat. Bengals usually get the Bills. And it's true. And I hope that continues this week, or else Cincinnati's season might just be over. Again, I'm hearing pundits say that at 8-9, somebody could win the AFC North. It's been that bad in this division. Pittsburgh clearly flawed. Baltimore, Cincinnati just beat the shit out of, and then Cleveland's Cleveland. And again, I hate to sound like a broken damn record, but I don't see a single team on here that is like a no thought behind it. They go out and beat Burrow and the Bengals 10 out of 10 times. I don't see a team on here. Again, this is a Bengals bias show. Now, the next question I want to ask you guys, and I just got an alert saying my phone's on 10%. I try to make this as professional as a production as I can. I'm a one-man show, guys, so if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel, it's free. I'm not going to ask you for anything else, and I need subs to create revenue for the channel so I can start hiring producers and tech people so that I can come on these shows not having to think about any of that. I've gotten pretty good at it, but I'd love to be able to hire people. So if you're not subbed, a lot of people watch this show and think they're subbed, but they're not subbed. Hit the subscribe button for me. And bare minimum, just double tap the screen. If you don't do either of those, man, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, guys. That's how I'm coming today. Best ability is available. This is Marcus Aurelius. I like the username, by the way. A little stoicism in the chat. Best ability is availability. Allen clears. Plus, he's going on 6 straight 40-plus touchdown seasons. I agree. Best ability is availability. Joe struggled with injuries. But I totally agree. Best ability is availability. But if we're setting that aside, there's not a quarterback in football that elevates not just the offense, but the entire team like Joey does. There's just nobody else like that in pro football. Smart Dog. It's not Allen that's a problem. Bengals have had our number by making passes between our D-line and linebackers. Yeah, quick slant routes. Bacon soda. Thank you. I can't say it louder because my neck's fucked right now, guys. Yeah, quick slants. We love Jamar on those 10-yard out routes. You send T on a 10, 15-yard dig route. I don't think T play. I'm just coming to this realization, embarrassingly enough. I don't think T played on Thanksgiving. Did he? I didn't see his ass. Let's Google that. T. Higgins. I'm typing with one hand. T. Higgins. Injury? Let's see. Yeah, T was out. Okay, Bengals, this is 14 hours ago. Bengals T. Higgins injury update isn't good news yet. That might be God. You know what's crazy too is like with this neck, this is like the worst pain, this neck injury, this little mini neck injury I've got. This is the worst pain I've felt in a single day in years. I can cough, no problem. There's no pain coughing. I got a zin in my lip that it kind of make me cough for some reason a little bit, especially when I'm talking a lot. It's burping, dude. When I've had to burp today, it has been so painful for some reason. It's like the spot in my neck that's fucked right now are these like the C1 and the C4 disc or something. The bottom two is responsible for like 90% of your mobility. Again, if you wrote something on the ceiling directly above my head and said, look up at that and read it, and I'll give you $1 million, I'd say keep your fucking money. I can't do it. Anyway, yeah, acupuncture, that would be interesting. I've never tried acupuncture. I'd be open to doing it. Today it's just been cold plunge, 40 degrees up to the neck, 3 minutes. It's been icing at the top of each hour. I probably need to go and ice this shit right now. I'm going to head to the dojo and just watch jiu-jitsu practice tonight. And then no stretching the first 2 days. This is like the inflammatory period. So I have like a spasm or like a sprain in my neck. It was a wrestling exchange. I was with my buddy. We take good care of each other too. We train every day, and we just had a little wrestling exchange at the end of the round. Both of us were busting, trying to secure dominant position, and I don't even really remember the sequence, but I ended up in a spot where I was going down to the mat, trying to roll forward. He's still on top of me with about 200 pounds of his weight, and I'm going down full speed, and the top of my head just hits the mat, folds forward, and I hear all this cracking, and it just fucking hurts so bad. I for half a second, maybe a 0.1 second, I thought that shit was broken, but it's all good. It's just a spasm sprain. But I've been in pain today, guys. I've been in pain. I don't mean to sound like a bitch, but yeah. So T. Higgins was out. Interesting to see. Beefing with my chick while I'm in jail. Interesting to see whether T. Higgins grabs his nuts and tries to go out there and play against Buffalo on Sunday. Look, Joe threw a touchdown. The two guys that scored on Thursday, Tanner Hudson with a beautiful one-handed catch, tight end number 87 for Cincinnati, and Andre Yoshivash, the pretty boy from Princeton, the pretty boy track star from Princeton, number 80, the receiver. Joe hit him on like a deep kind of dagger route. And Samaje Perine, it's been great to have him back in Cincinnati, in the lineup for Cincinnati as well. Samaje Perine, beautiful blitz pickup on that touchdown play to Yoshivash. God damn. Beautiful blitz pickup. Samaje Perine made that entire play. It's going to be really important for Cincinnati to have Perine down the stretch. I'm really glad to have him back. He went to Kansas City, did a little, Judas shit playing for Kansas City last year, but he's back as a Bengal, and I think he's making great contributions to the team this year. What else, man? We're at about 44 minutes. My phone's probably going to die soon. My phone is my camera. So again, if you guys want to see the show grow, you want to see me buy a new fucking camera, hit the subscribe button for me there. Smart Dog did it. You can do it too. Smart Dog's a good guy. I think he's a Bills fan, but Forrest Barrett says boomer. Who, me? What? Me? God, that hurt my neck. Fuck. God. All right, anything else? I mean, we talked all about Lane Kiffin yesterday. That's really been, Lane Kiffin, same old guy. They are who we thought they were. Lane Kiffin, same old guy, guys. Guy's not where his feet are. Lane Kiffin went to hot yoga and made a personality out of going to hot yoga because he wanted to fuck on all the ladies at the hot yoga class. I understand the game, Lane. I know what you're doing, Lane. He's trying to get in that old Miss Huz at the hot yoga studio. Tell him to come babysit Juice after hot yoga. I know what you're up to, Lane. You got new new lands to conquer in Baton Rouge, trying to get that thing. Damn, I shouldn't say that. I usually make them shit. Trying to broaden his horizons is Lane Kiffin. Forrest Barrett says no P Ryan. What happened? He didn't get hurt, did he? I didn't hear anything about that yet. I mean, that's a big deal if P Ryan's out against Buffalo. Indy lost 3 out of the last 4. They're supposed to be fighting for a 1 seed. Now Danny Jones has a fibula fracture. It's like hairline. It's workable. But their schedule down the stretch is brutal. Jaguars, they got twice. They got Seattle. They got San Francisco. They got Houston again. And Jacksonville, look, I spent a year working for the team in Indianapolis in 2019. Week 17 of the season, I think we were 7. I think that was back when there were 16 games. I think we were 7-9 or something with Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback. The AFC South was okay. Houston was really good back then with Deshaun Watson, but we beat them once. We split with Houston, and we had a Week 17 game, I think, to put us in playoff contention that 2019 season. I'm talking about Indy. I worked there. We had a Week 17 game against Jacksonville to put ourselves in, to give ourselves a chance to make the playoffs, and it was a bad Jacksonville team, and Indy just puckered up and loses that game, knocks himself completely out of the playoff contention. Jacksonville's like again, and it's like this in all divisions. Division games are just weird. It doesn't matter how overmatched one team is compared to the other. If it's a division game, you better strap the fuck in. So Jacksonville's not bad. In fact, the record says they're pretty good. I don't take them that serious. I think they're inconsistent as all hell. But Jacksonville has historically been, as many division foes are, kryptonite for Indy. And Indy's got them twice. Jacksonville's 8-4. Indy's lost 3 of the last 4, and they got Jacksonville twice, Seattle, San Francisco, and Houston. They could realistically, they'll probably beat Jacksonville once, at least. But if you're talking about nightmare scenario for Indianapolis, they could lose the rest of those games. I don't think Houston will sweep them. I think Indy will beat Jacksonville once, and they'll beat Houston to wrap the year up. But they could lose to San Francisco. They could also beat them, and they'll probably lose to Seattle. Seattle's great. Seattle's got a great team. But what do I know, guys? They beat the shit out of Minnesota. They still got Jonathan Taylor at the end of the day. And he's the best. He's by far the best running back in football. The trade deadline all-in move with Sauce Gardner now feels different. I haven't heard Sauce Gardner's name one time. I haven't heard his ass making plays. I haven't seen any highlights. And everybody was real fired up. Indy was playing good. They signed Sauce, and now things are looking a little tough for the horseshoe guys over in Indiana. And Colts fans are rightfully nervous. Colts might need to lose out and get the hard. What is this hot take? The Colts might need to lose out and get the hard road. That's what's happening, though, so they might as well embrace it. If they beat the Jaguars this week, the entire narrative changes. They're not out of it. They're far from out of it. Jonathan Taylor's the engine. As long as he's running, they have a chance. Well, yeah. Sauce Gardner trade looks different now. That's what midseason trades do sometimes. And then obviously the Steelers, they look terrible. The Eagles, they look terrible. We talked about Lane yesterday. There's something about Texas Tech in here. My camera is rapidly dying. It's been a great show. We've had a ton of people pop in. I'm gonna wrap it there, guys. Again, I'm never gonna ask you for anything else. Hit the subscribe button, please. It helps our show. We're the fastest growing football show in the land. And we're getting really close to starting generating some revenue here. So I need you guys to help try and get us to 500 subs. And a lot of y'all might watch the show daily and just not know that you're not subscribed. So there should be a button there at the bottom of the screen. Just hit that button. And if you don't like my face or whatever, like, just do me a solid and double tap the screen and like that shit so the algorithm pushes us to more football fans. That's all I'm asking. Okay? And with that, we are going to send you guys off. We're live every day, 6-ish Eastern. We were late today. We've been late most days, but you got to be subbed to know when we go live. I got to be a professional, show up on time. I get that. 6-ish Eastern, Monday through Friday. We're live with this podcast talking about the latest football happenings. You got Madden streams on the channel. We've been lacking on those, but those are a lot of fun. We do those sometimes. And then we just did our first live commentary of an NFL game on Thanksgiving. We called the Bengals-Ravens game. If you're really autistic, you might want to go watch that back. If you don't have autism, you probably won't be interested. That's okay. But be on the lookout for those. Nice little audio companion. If you want a more colorful AM radio style call on a game with a little Homer flavor, mute your TV, watch the game, and then listen to me call it. That's on this channel as well. Audio platforms. You want to make your girlfriend listen about football in the car. You want to make her learn about ball on the way to your next date. We're on every audio platform, big or small, Spotify, Amazon, all the way down to like Tubi or whatever the fuck it's called. Okay, that's updated daily. So you got no excuse, guys. If you're in here, you're part of the fam. If you're sub, I might come through that screen and give you a kiss. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why that music cuts off every time, but this is Neck from LSU. I got some feelings about that Lane Kiffin situation. I might air out some more on the show tomorrow, guys. Sub, though. Sub, we've had a great show. A lot of viewers, a lot of great people participating in the chat today, so I appreciate everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. We could be back tonight with a Madden stream again. I am in so much pain. It's not even funny. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm in pain. Okay, but I love you guys. I'm going to head out now. See y'all tomorrow.